Thank you so much for gracing this occasion. We are extremely pleased to have Janhavi Malhotra here with her fabulous book, which I have read twice. So have my children. I now invite Antara, Janhavi's very close friend, to take on this session. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, Dr. Aluwalia, Dr. Bawa, Miss Anand, and everyone present here this evening. I, Antara Vasudev, do solemnly declare that I am a good friend of Janhavi's, though I know that she has other best friends too. We are gathered here today to launch her debut literary endeavor, Aloft on Wings of Grit, a random collection of her thoughts in verse. I thank you all for being present at this event. Janhavi and I go back to the time we were both 8-year-olds. She was the quiet new girl in our class, and we instantly hit it off. She is the best friend anybody could ever have. Today, she's releasing a book, and I'm sure I'm not the only one bursting out of my skin with pride. A true warrior, she's one of the strongest and the bravest people on this earth, and to be here today is an honor for all of us, I'm sure. Aloft on Wings of Grit was released in Chandigarh in August and has been published by Little Magic Words, a non-profit charter that works with an avowed cause of promoting rural education. The profits from Aloft on Wings of Grit are going towards setting up resource centers in rural schools. With over 1,000 copies sold, Aloft on Wings of Grit went into reprint within 2 months of its release. Since then, Janhavi has been invited to a number of schools in Chandigarh and Delhi, where her verses have been an inspiration to many a budding poet. Her poem, Enlightenment, ranked among the top few in the SARC Youth Festival of 2008. She was honored to interact with postgraduate psychology students at the Punjab University, where she read her poems, shared her insight of their psychological interpretations and thoughts that led to each poem. The book now finds shelf space at landmark stores across the country. Don't let the size of the book fool you, though. It has deep thoughts running through it and is passionate in emotion. So do keep the tissue box handy. With us on the dais, she is beautiful, as is her soul. A source of inspiration to many, her verses celebrate womanhood and the strength within each woman. In her first book, Woman of the Elements, each page is an affirmation to self in song. Her next, A Heart That Honors, pays tribute to the different things a woman honors in her life. And her soon-to-be-released Journey of the Goddess speaks of the stages in the life of every woman. Miss Rashmi Anand, our friend Sonakshi's mom and inspiration to many, poet of great repute. Would you please say a few words?
Thank you for having me here today. Janhavi is very special to me, as I'm sure that she is to you, because she is Janhavi, because she is beautiful, young, talented, but all the more because she is courageous and whole, even in the face of adversity, because she comes through with joy and hope and love, no matter how hard the circumstances, because she knows how to fight situations and is not afraid to fight her own emotions along the way, and most of all, because she is not afraid to share her strengths with the rest of the world. Her spirit is humbling, and I'm so honored to have her as a part of my next book. I would like to read out a couple of verses which it seems were just written for Janhavi. It says, Daughter of the heavens, she is the messenger of hope, heavenly. She is the fulfillment of the promise of time, the promise of eternity. Lovely are the sounds around her. She sings as she goes along. The world echoes its melody within her. She resonates with its song. There are certain eternal truths that she to this world brings. There are certain songs eternal that only her soul can sing. Little goddess, sing on. This world needs all your songs. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. A wet, oversized dress clings to her emaciated form. Matted hair and tears of anguish awash in the storm. Calling out, she shakes the infant in her arms, but still is the night, inert and calm. From Janhavi's favorite poem, Tempestuous Tears. We have with us years of wisdom, Dr. Bawa, the patron and ex-president of the All India Women's Conference, and now the executive vice president of the Geneva-based International Alliance of Women. Ma'am, would you please say a few words?
I'm obliged to be here, to Janhavi and her parents for inviting me here, because it has given me an opportunity to talk about the young talent that is coming up and which is very important at this time of the country, at this time that we need such talented young ladies, whether they are politicians, leaders, poetess, all categories of women are required to take part in this progress that we are finalizing or we are finding now in this world. So, friends who have gathered here for Janhavi's book launch, this book has touched the core of my heart. We who are older and have gone through a lot of the spectrum of different experiences throughout our lives, but we have never observed the hues and the color and the depth that Janhavi's book shows in such young years. These poems in her book give an insight to the strength and depth of her observation of the beauty and sordidness of life at such a tender age, expressing her feelings with courage and grace. She has put in words the experience of beauty, strength, and positivity in her observations of different shades of life and ugliness in her young life. Each of her poems is full of hope, overcoming negative thoughts and feelings followed by confidence. The lines of one of the poems expresses her courage and confidence in herself. And I would like to read those lines, which really touched me, and I see the future in her. There is more in me, the truth and the lies, the uncried tears, the umpteen wishes to fly high, and hopes and dreams to touch the sky. And this poem ends it thus: because I'm not afraid to be me. This is something which is really very important to all of us, because we search within ourselves for ourselves, to be ourselves and to be a part of this society. Her writings express her sensitivity to her experiences of hope and despair and the courage to overcome challenges. As a teenager, she's unsure, of course, of her emotions, I find, but her sensibilities help her to retain her confidence in herself, which is very important, and this is a very good lesson for all the youngsters who are growing up. These poems reflect her uniqueness as a teenager who observes a caterpillar waiting to metamorphose to face the challenges of her new life. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. No baby babble for her. Her first word was cat. Her first poem at age 7 was about a cockroach. And now her first book is named after a caterpillar. I'm not surprised, because she professes her love for animals effusively and believes in vegetarianism. An avid reader, Janhavi thrives on books on the behavioral sciences, dream interpretation, body language, and abnormal psychology, and the workings of the human mind fascinate her. And this is very evident in her poems. Under that deep reflective persona is a soul wired with sensitivity and feeling. Janhavi, would you please treat us to a few of your verses?
Good evening, Dr. Aluwalia, Dr. Bawa, Miss Anand, and all you wonderful people gathered here today. One often hears of children working in factories into the wee hours of the morning. It hurts to know that they are being exposed to harmful chemicals in the match and cracker industries. This makes them prone to bronchial diseases and allergic conditions. The constant pressure from home robs them of their innocence, denies them their childhood and a right to education. My poem, Into the Abyss, paints the picture of a girl earning her livelihood in the cracker industry. Fireworks light up the evening and bring us momentary delight, but they asphyxiate the life in her. Into the abyss. Caustic odors permeate the dismal recesses as calloused hands keep with the clock. Sweat and black powder mat her tresses. The toxins in her lungs rattle her small frame. Forced to grow up beyond her years by a drunk of a mother and a father not known. Firm resolve masks the unseen tears as she plays surrogate to two. Smothered by the mantle of maturity, she hastens to hearth and home, to a life of deprivation and paucity as the whip awaits her for no fault of her own. Deftly made sparklers that bring in the bread flash in the dusk momentarily. Short-lived elation with no hope ahead stifle the life out of her leisurely. Thank you. Every human is like an uncut diamond with no luster. At a particular angle, it will certainly show deep and beautiful colors. So if you do not see the sparkle in someone, you may want to change the way you look at them till you reach the right angle. My next poem was written as an assignment in class 8, and it's the first in the book. I am me. As I look into the mirror, what is it I see? A familiar face staring back at me. I look deep into her eyes. There's a hazel world out there. Her mind, a chaotic cacophony of thoughts. Same pink cheeks and plaited black hair. It's the same face that everyone sees. But as I gaze into her soul, I know there's more to me. The unspoken thoughts, the mindless fears, the truth and the lies, the uncried tears, the umpteen wishes to fly high, the hopes and dreams to touch the sky. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I ask, how do I look today? The mirror doesn't reply, but I start my day anyway. I spill my juice in the cafeteria at lunch. People stare, but I don't begin to hunch. And I know I'm not going over the brink when I couldn't care less of what people think, because I'm not afraid to be me. Thank you. Thank you. King Solomon once searched for a cure to depression. He assembled his wise men, who meditated for a long time, and then advised him to make a ring and have the words, "This too shall pass," engraved upon it. So he had the ring made and wore it constantly. Whenever he felt sad or depressed, he'd look at it and his mood would change. My poem, This Too Shall Pass, focuses on the fact that everything in this world is transient, be it the global economic slowdown, the strife amongst nations, or that within ourselves. So one must not get disheartened during bad times or gloat when the going is good. This too shall pass. Each bleak dusk gives way to a radiant dawn, bathed in light. The foliage, obscured in its silver grave, awakens to spring's break of day. Magnificence ravaged by unbiased time. Riches, here today, gone the next. Love's luster, eventually tarnished, as the spotlight of eminence seeks a new star. With the evanescence of belongings worldly and the promise of what tomorrow holds, 'tis futile to exult or despair. Whatever it is, it will pass. Thank you. Thank you. Aloft on wings of grit means flying high on wings of determination and fortitude. It has been titled after a poem in the book, Wings of Grit, about a caterpillar's journey into the sky. To metamorphose into a butterfly, the caterpillar goes into a stage where it's absolutely still. During this time, it faces the wrath of weather, rain, wind, cold, or maybe in the danger of becoming someone else's dinner. But the caterpillar must look for a resting place, spin a cocoon around it, and silently endure its physical changes. And when the time is right, struggle out as a butterfly. It faces a lot of hardship, but in the end, emerges a winner and soars into the sky. We don't really pay attention to these things that much, but if you actually think about it, we should take a lesson from the butterfly. No matter what, you face difficulties, you struggle, and you try. But if you don't lose heart and go on, you're sure to emerge a winner at the end of it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Janhavi. An economist with high credentials, she has been the chairperson of the Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations. Dr. Ahluwalia, the recipient of many national awards, the prominent ones being the Mahila Shiromani Award, the Bhateja Memorial Award for Social Sciences, and the L.N. Gupta Memorial Award. She has also authored many books that are highly acclaimed points of reference. I would now request Dr. Ahluwalia to please introduce Janhavi's thoughts to all, Aloft on Wings of Grit.
I really feel truly blessed that you have asked me to release this book. Normally, I'm associated with releases of boring reports and books on the economy. And when I was sent this book by Mr. Berry and I actually read the poems, I was so touched by the positive thinking, by the spirit of the poems. And Janhavi, I must say, when the poems that I really liked, your, to go from Death Beckons and Why Me in the first instance, to get the sense of your struggle. And then the one that I really liked was A Fight to Win. And it was almost like, after reading Why Me, A Fight to Win was saying, try me, and there is that spirit which is, so contagious. And we, much older people, get, defeated by small challenges. So what you are showing us all, young and old, is how to really keep addressing the challenges, respond to them, and continue to live life in the best possible way. So you really are teaching us all to take on life as it should be taken. And the thought that came to my mind, and you yourself reflected on that in your few words, that in our Gurbani, there is a shlok which says, Chinta taki kijiye jo anhoni hoye, e marag sansar ka, nanak phir nahi koi. We know that this world is transient, so there is no point in getting bogged down or being worried about small things, because we know everything shall pass. And I really thank you for showing us the way, and I'm very grateful that you've given me a chance to be associated with this function. Congratulations, and may you write many more poems. I would just like to correct your best friend that actually reading the book, I didn't need any handkerchief. I tell you, it was so uplifting, which was very contrary to what I started out with. When I opened the book, I was a bit afraid, am I going to feel depressed? But at the end, to feel so uplifted, I think you've done such tremendous service to all of us to tell us that life is worth living and we must just, carry on doing our best and be a source of joy and help to all our fellow people in this world. Thank you very much.
Hi, it's me again. My verses were on the pages of my diary, for my eyes only, and today I can't believe it has actually been published into a real book. Aloft on Wings of Grit has been born out of my love for verse and your faith in me. The poems in the book, arranged chronologically, illustrate my growth in both thought and words. First of all, I would like to thank God for, just being God and always showing me the way. Dr. Ahluwalia and Dr. Bawa for their support in releasing my book. Rashmi Auntie for always admiring my abilities and encouraging me. My distributor and publisher, Pankaj Uncle and Navneet Uncle, who deemed my work worthy of a bind. Jaspreet for bringing my poems to life with her beautiful sketches, and Antara for being a great friend and comparing the events so well. And the Taj Mahal, my official sponsor. A special thanks to Mr. Digvijay Singh, Mr. Berry, and Ms. Sanjukta Roy for all their support in making today possible. In this room here are gathered some of the finest people I know. A big thank you to you all. And last but not the least at all, my parents and family and friends from far and near, even those who couldn't make it today. You have made me feel special always with your love and influenced my life in many good ways. I can't thank you enough, all of you, for being there for me when it really mattered. Thank you. Once again, I thank everyone for being present here to share this special moment with me. Thank you.
Look here, Miss Ahluwalia.
Thank you.
Janhavi? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Just one more.
Welcome back. You're watching Let's Go Delhi. Right now on the show, we have someone very special with us. Her name is Janhavi Malhotra. She's a 15-year-old with a very special talent. She's in fact just launched her book of poems called Aloft on Wings of Grit. Janhavi, welcome to Let's Go Delhi, and thank you for joining us. So your book has just launched in the capital, is that right?
It was just released today, just now.
And this happened at the Taj Mahal Hotel, how many people were there listening to you when you were reciting your poems?
How many people? I don't know.
What was the response like? Great?
Everyone liked it, and I was happy. I'm really glad to be here.
You're 15 years old. How early in your life did you actually start writing?
Well, my first poem I wrote when I was 7. That was about a cockroach. I wrote it. Yeah.
What about the cockroach that you read?
I wrote it when I was in class 2. It was for the school magazine. So that's when I started writing, and everyone always encouraged me and motivated me to go ahead and do what I wanted to. So that's where this has come from.
And the kind of support that you get from your school, you study in Chandigarh.
Yeah.
How much support you get from your school when you do such things?
A lot. My school always encourages me, and my principal and everybody.
So what about the types of poems that you write about? Is there anything specific that you, maybe personal experiences or anything that comes to mind?
Some of the themes of my poems are death, poverty, love, separation, stuff like that. A lot of people think what I write is very negative and depressing because I like to write about pain. But you see, there's positivity in it, because I like to write about pain because it lets you know you're still alive and still capable of feeling.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay, so how about just reciting a few lines from your poems, from your book, so that we get an idea as to how much pain you write about.
Okay, sure, but this one isn't that painful. Can I read
Okay,
it?
that's great.
Okay, this is the title poem. It's called Wings of Grit. My book has been titled after this poem. Aloft on wings of grit means flying high on wings of determination and fortitude. Wings of Grit is about a caterpillar's journey into the sky. To metamorphose into a butterfly, it goes into a stage where it's absolutely still. During this time, it faces the wrath of weather, rain, wind, cold, or maybe in the danger of becoming someone else's dinner. But the caterpillar must look for a resting place, spin a cocoon around it, and silently endure its physical changes. And when the time is right, struggle out as a butterfly. And it faces a lot of hardship, but in the end, it emerges a winner and soars into the sky. We don't really pay attention to these things that much, but if you actually think about it, I think we should take a lesson from the butterfly, because no matter what, you face difficulties, you struggle, and you try. But if you don't lose heart and go on, you're sure to emerge a winner at the end of it. Should I
Now
read
I
it
know
now?
what you mean, that even when being negative, there's something positive coming out of it. Yeah.
Should I read it now?
Yes, you should.
Wings of Grit. I sit alone on the veranda, watching the drops of rain as it makes the leaves quiver and streaks the window pane. Nature is awash, all things bright and clean, flowers burgeoning, the grass ever so green. An indistinct movement on a branch catches my eye. Inch by inch, a caterpillar toils and tries towards a resting place to bid the world adieu, metamorphose and face the unknown anew. Inconspicuous its journey we may deem, ordinary its life to us may seem, though stoic inertness awaits it before, aloft on wings of fortitude it can soar. Thank you.
It's really nice. Excellent.
Thank
It
you
was
so much.
wonderful.
Thank
And,
you.
We hope you have a wonderful journey ahead.
Thank you.
And may you go on to write many, many more books.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me here.